Hey, Monday movie fans. That's Milo. Hi, Milo. Hey, we this week we watched, I forgot, The Sunshine Boys, which was Amy's choice. Aim, why The Sunshine Boys?
Because as you know, Frank, since you and I quote this movie for the last 40 years, many lines, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's in my top 10. I've seen it 100 times.
I I dare anyone to diagram that sentence. Okay. I'm Frank Gaffney, coming to you from Key West. Here with me is Joel trying to figure that out. Joel, you could have used a pencil and paper.
I could, but
Annie King is wicked today.
Nice.
I think she's wicked every day. Amy Goldman. What happened to Ruby Tuesday?
She's over there hiding.
Oh, she was just here a second ago.
Ruby
Mark
Tuesday.
Gardner, who does not have a picture up. You know what that means. And our Neil Simon expert, Jeff Pliskin, who doesn't watch any of our videos but likes Neil Simon.
That's not true.
All right. Okay, so it's 1975, this movie, and Walter Matthau and George Burns are Lewis and Clark, two legendary ex-vaudevillians who are given the chance to reunite for an ABC special 12 years after they broke up the act. 11 years. And they are not on good terms. And George Burns won an Oscar as Best Supporting Actor for his first film performance in 36 years. And he's terrific. And just to see him at that first scene with no hair on, I'm like, you go, boy. No hair. And Walter Matthau, of course, can do no wrong. Aim, you agree with me on that.
100%. I mean, the next year was when the Bad News Bears came out. So he was, as we're good, somebody's going to mention, he was only 55 when he made this movie.
Right.
And he had a lot more hair in the Bad News Bears as well. And that's when I first saw him when I was 10. And I was like, oh my God, who is this man? I'm in love.
Yeah.
So then I just became a huge fan. And he absolutely deserved the Oscar for this movie, but he was up, he lost it to like Jack Nicholson or somebody in Cuckoo's Nest.
I don't think there's any contest there, but
they were like four other people he was against. He had no chance.
Right. George Burns was 88 when he made
79.
This. I thought he was 88.
80. No.
80.
79.
All right. So Matthau is playing a 73-year-old, and yes, he was nominated for an Oscar, and so is Neil Simon's screenplay adaptation of his 1972 Broadway hit, which I only recently saw the play. I never saw the play before, but it's a very sweet comedy with some very clever lines, and the two of them together, they really are so endearing and so funny, and they're so adorable. I was smiling the whole time, and yes, I've seen this movie a number of times as well. And Mark, for as much as you quote Full Metal Jacket, Amy and I, of course, quote this movie. The Finger. Did you hear Saul Bernstein died?
Where?
In Variety.
It's brilliant line. And I thought that line went right past Mark. Not over your head, but just not a line you could appreciate.
Correct.
And the other line that I still use all the time is I'll move the chair like that and go, that's the doctor sketch.
That's not the doctor sketch. That's the gypsy chiropractor sketch. We've done that a million times too.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to freshen up the act.
Right. Oh no, the other one I always use is
hot.
Right. If this one was on fire, you wouldn't be hot.
Yep.
Come on. I love this movie.
All the time we say that line.
But I must say, watching it again this time, it creaks a little bit, sure. So I'm just going with a solid 3 stars out of 4, but a very solid 3 stars. They were adorable. And the sketch is funny. It's just funny. The vaudeville sketch. And I'm sure Mark appreciated the boobs. So let's get him,
that part, yeah.
Let's get him out of the way since he didn't really relate to this movie.
That's a smart move. I guess I'll preface this by saying that I've seen Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, not in The Odd Couple, but in Grumpy Old Man and Grumpy Old Man, and I love him. And even though I didn't love Bad News Bears, I really liked Walter Matthau in that. But this movie was just not for me. I hated him in this. I hated him. He
Oh my
just,
God, when he started singing the Lipton tea song,
no.
how adorable was
Brisk.
that?
Well,
Oh my
and, you know,
God.
just the way he said lines. What do you see? The milkman. All his readings were brilliant.
To me, everything he was doing was so overdone. It reminded me a little bit of like when John Candy went a little bit overboard in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But to me, John Candy was still funny. And I didn't find Walter Matthau funny. It was almost like he was trying to be the most annoying man in the world and also the meanest man in the world. A little bit. I even had a problem like a few weeks ago with Jessica Tandy in Driver Miss Daisy. I was like, oh my God, I get it. You're supposed to be a bitch. Like, enough already. And I guess some of that's the writing, whatever it is, but I get why you guys love it. This is your movie, and it's like how you didn't understand how I loved Spaceballs, right? But I was 12 when it came out, and that's my jam and all that stuff. So this here,
I think you're just prejudiced against old people. That's what I think.
He's prejudiced against Jewish people.
Jews and old Jews are the worst.
well, hey, Jeff and Frank, I like you guys, so
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, I'm
Frank
not a
is
Jew.
Jewish now.
Frank's not Jewish.
nobody's old.
It's halfway there.
There you go.
On my
Wait,
screen, by the way.
I did work in a bagel store for 8 years, so I'm kind of Jewish.
Oh,
There you go.
absolutely.
Yes.
I'm married to a Jew. I'm kind
Yeah.
of Jewish.
There you
On my
go.
screen, all the Jews are in the top row.
Oh, that's funny. What else? The bits and gags, they just didn't hit for me. They weren't funny, and I felt like I saw most of them coming from a mile away. And I hated the door lock gag. And I'm sure you guys loved it. I just
Slide it. But then it's
Everything-
hysterical when Richard Benjamin can't get out. After he kept saying, just slide it, and he's like, all right, whatever.
But I guess why it didn't work for me because you could see them pushing it. And
The
they're saying
other
to
thing
slide
that-
it, you push it. If
The
you're
other
gonna do
thing
it,
that's
I don't know.
other thing that's really funny to me is that, watching it now without an audience, obviously nobody was laughing, but they still took those pauses for the audience laughter. I'm like, nobody's laughing right now. All right, Mark, go ahead. What do you want to say?
Yeah, Frank, you said that this was Neil Simon at his best. So I guess I hate to see him at his worst because I've seen London Suite.
Yeah,
and
that
I
is the
enjoyed
worst.
that.
That is the worst.
No, Rumors
Is
is
it?
pretty bad.
But let me just get on to the good. I do have some good things to say. I finally laughed
good.
during the doctor bit rehearsal at the studio. And it wasn't because of the boobs. It was funny, and I felt like I was finally watching them do a bit, and it was funny. They should have been doing that the whole time instead of the old curmudgeon stuff. It was just too much of that. I think that's what
And
did it for me.
what was very smart about the writing was we never saw any of the sketch until we
Right.
saw them actually
Right.
do it.
Right.
Didn't hear their names, nothing. The names were ridiculous.
Yeah, agreed. And I get why you guys use that. You always quote when they were doing it in the apartment with the constant moving of the chair and the table and whatever. This isn't the right sketch. It's still, I didn't love it, but I get it. And if I had watched this,
That is brilliant
years ago.
comedy. Brilliant comedy.
by that point I was already pissed. So it was like I needed to be wowed, and I wasn't. But anyway, what else? To be fair, there were several funny lines throughout the whole movie. So I did giggle, or at least I enjoyed some of it. And I really liked George Burns. I thought he was good. I enjoyed his character. I did not enjoy Walter Matthau's. And I'd never seen George Burns do anything other than "Oh God." So it's the first time I've seen him.
He's adorable.
Like
He's adorable.
1983.
And he's adorable in that too.
Yes, he is. And I was also like 8 years old. So to me, and he was like 100 at that point. So
To you, he was God.
he was, yeah. At the end of the day, this reminded me of a mediocre community theater play.
Wow.
Oh,
I know. I'm sorry. I know I'm going to get beat up for this. 2.25 stars. I didn't hate it. I'll take this over friggin' that John Wayne Irish movie. And
I thought you were gonna say Little Big Man.
and Little Big
Yeah.
Man. I'll take this over that too. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
That's it.
Annie, have you seen this before?
No, never.
No. All right. So are you with Mark on this one?
Some of it, I like Mark and I kind of, vibe the same sometimes. And I thought Walter Walter Matthau was a little over the top at certain points and stuff, but there was enough for me to like laugh at. There really was. And like some of them, like in my will, I'll leave you to him, like just there were a lot of cute, funny lines that I loved and everything. Some of it was, I don't think I really looked at my watch, so maybe like 3/4 of the way through, I'm like, how much more do I have of this, but
Yeah, when the sassy black nurse showed up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it was fun enough. I enjoyed it. I laughed and nothing special, nothing wow me really. So I'm a 3-star. It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So it was good
Yeah,
enough.
I don't think it's a wow movie. I don't, but I think it's a very nice passing of time. Is that what I mean?
You know
Mr.
what I also felt? Maybe if I had seen it in my younger years, it might have been different. But watching it now, I'm like, ugh, am I gonna be like that?
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
hear
be
you.
grumpy and like that, like so definitely like watching it at a certain age, I think makes you feel a little differently too.
All right, speaking of
I
old
agree.
Jews, Jeff Pliskin, which one are you
Um,
turning into?
I, I'm somewhere in between the two of them. It
right.
depends on which day you ask me. No, I haven't seen it in several years, and I really I relished it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, starting with the scene with Walter Matthau going into the garage and having looking for a west address instead of an east address, and
And
just
F.
how he
Murray
torments.
Abraham popping up out of the thing. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so weird seeing Salieri being a mechanic.
He was funny too. He was great.
That whole interchange between the two of them, right up to him poking his head down under the garage door. The argument goes on even after he walks out the door. No, I enjoyed it. The humor is of an era, and I think either if you haven't been exposed to that style of humor, it's probably tough if you're seeing it as an adult of our age now for the first time.
Yeah.
Probably not going to resonate as much. I'll say this: as much as I loved, how irritating I was, laughing at myself being irritated so much by Walter Matthau. He was so irritating. It's hard. At times it became hard because their animosity seemed to be so much for one another. Hard to believe that they ever got along, for that many years that they were in the act together. But
you can imagine after 43 years of doing the same material,
yeah,
you're gonna annoy each other for sure.
But these guys really, seemed to like they really hated each other. I mean, it was, to me, there are sort of three components of the movie. There's the two of them, and there's the writing, and everything else is pretty superfluous. There, a couple of good supporting roles. Richard Benjamin, always, does a good job. But it was, it was the chemistry between.
Yeah.
What's that?
I felt so bad for him. Like, how is he making it through a day with this?
Well, he only
Yeah.
had to go there on Wednesdays.
That's,
Feeling chest pains on Monday now.
that was the beauty of it, is just you feeling everyone's frustration between the door locks and dealing with the TV commercial audition and all that. So I was gonna, at first I was gonna give it a 3. I would say the boobs get an extra quarter point, so I would say 3.25.
I like the way you think, Pliskin.
The boobs get an extra quarter.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeff, which part would you play though?
Which would I play?
Walter
I'd play the
Matthau,
Walter
of
Matthau
course.
part, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd play the Walter Matthau part.
Somebody should mount it for you, Joel.
I got my fingers in other fries. You're the Neil Simon guy.
I know, but I'm a little far away.
So you come back for 6 months, and
By the
sure.
time somebody does it again, I'll be 15 years older than Walter Matthau was when he did the movie. So I'm ready.
Well, he's
for
supposed
it,
to be 73, so you're getting very close.
Yeah, I'm getting up there. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you'll have to
But, I
play
mean,
the George Foreman's
73
part.
I could play
73
Walter
in
Matthau's part right now.
1975 is different than 73 today. It's it really seemed elderly.
Did they thin
You
his
only
hair
say
out
that
part?
because it's knocking on your door.
Right.
Did they thin out Walter Matthau's hair for that part?
Oh yeah, definitely. He
So
definitely
that
had a
wasn't
shave.
that's not a wig that he wear, a toupee in
No, that's really
Then
the same.
Bears. He really
That's
has
really
No, that was
impressive hair.
his hair actually was, I mean, if you look closely at him, the color of his hair and just, you know, the you know, age in his face or whatever, you could see that he really was 55. I mean, they didn't put any extra wrinkles on him or anything. He
Right.
didn't really look elderly, but
Well, let's face it, Walter Matthau has always looked
Yeah.
old.
he
Not
has
just
one of those faces.
elderly, but he's
When he
got
was
that-
14, he could have played this role.
in Charade, you know, when he's playing the villain, he looks
Yeah.
old. You know,
Yeah, you're right. He
Mike
just has
Black.
one of those craggly faces.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So that's it. That's it for me. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it very much. And thank you to Amy for inviting me, reminding me. I had it on my calendar, and thanks, Amy, for
You're welcome.
mentioning.
All right, Gold Fuck.
You want to do Jaws?
No, I'll go to you.
Oh, well, I mean, what more can I say? You know, I love the movie. I wrote down some of the lines that Frank and I always say, and one of them that a lot of people say, a lot of people I know that we didn't mention, was words with a K are funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
Pickle is funny.
Pickle is funny. Salad is not funny. The first thing I wrote was I loved how the mechanic in the opening was F. Murray Abraham, who I knew when I first saw this movie, but I never remembered that. And Ron Rifkin, I never realized at the time.
And Howard
Um,
Hesseman.
Well, Howard Hessman, of course I knew because Cincinnati was on by the time I saw it. Oh, I
But
love
you know, so from the play, you know, he opened up. So that whole thing at the beginning, we don't see the commercial, we don't see him go to the garage. So all those were added for the movie.
I don't remember that because I did see the play in community theater. Michael Buscemi played Willie with latex on his face because he was in his 40s and he was fucking amazing. Of course, he's never going to see this video, but he was amazing.
I saw
but I
Larry
don't remember
Greeley.
that.
I saw Larry Greeley, who was also amazing.
I thought you said you never saw the play.
That's when I saw it.
Oh,
I
you
saw
said in
Larry
community
Greeley-
theater.
Yeah, when Larry did it.
Who would you do it with?
I don't know the other guy. He
Okay.
was not
Where?
a theater person. In
Where was
Ridgefield.
it?
Ridgefield.
Okay, because Fred played one of the roles at Curtain Call. I forget who played the other role.
It's probably some old
Okay.
guy.
Some old guy.
The only other two lines that I wrote down was, we're not going to stop for the little things. We're going to stop for the stupid things. Not going out the door is a stupid thing. Just his readings was so good. And when we did the sketch in the doctor's office, where in the studio, which you just do not expect, and this is the humor that I love, where you don't see it coming, finishing the line, she's a Virginian. That's where she's from. You never expect that's what he meant, that she's a Virginian. Loved that. So, I mean,
I just thought it was adorable. Every time he threw a prop, you saw the guy
you
catching
saw the
it
guy
on
come
stage.
catch it. Yeah, yeah. I love that too. I'm giving it 3.5 stars.
All right.
There was never a moment where I was watching my clock. I smiled the whole time, except yes, at the end when
Oh.
he was in the bed, it started slowing down there because it wasn't as funny as the rest of it, even though it was really funny. He had like a Daffy Duck card hanging. Adorable.
And now we go to the middle-aged Jew, Joel Fenster. So you're a fan of Neil Simon too,
Yeah, generally speaking, I like Neil Simon.
Yeah. but I get what Jeff was saying, that, you know, we're in tune with it because we experienced it at the time as well.
Well, sure. And look,
And we appreciate theater.
I don't get me wrong. I appreciate theater.
I know.
In studying film, you learn a lot about theater and vaudeville in the process. There's a lot of comedians in the 40s, Abbott and Costello, they all came out of vaudeville. So
Right, Laurel and Hardy, sure.
Laurel and I've seen lots of replications of this type of thing.
Oh, wait, I'm interrupting you again. The cuteness of the opening with seeing all those vaudeville acts,
Yeah.
even before
Yeah,
the movie started, I was like,
montage.
oh my God, that is just ridiculous right now.
And supposedly
Blackface wouldn't have played today, though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
supposedly the music track that's playing is the actual instrumental track from Singing in the Rain, that they used for
Donald O'Connor.
Donald O'Connor to sing to.
Oh, so it's the karaoke version. We could use that for
Essentially, yeah.
karaoke.
There you
Make
go.
'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
I watched the movie last night, and this morning I watched the TV remake.
Oh, okay.
Been
Is
a
that
while since
available? Is that available somewhere?
No.
just at my
Oh.
house.
Woody Allen and Peter Falk.
I had seen it back in the 90s when it
Yeah,
aired.
I remember seeing it.
I
And
haven't.
I'm like, why Sarah Jessica Parker? Why does it have to be a girl?
it-
Okay.
Why not? Anyway, as much as I enjoyed watching this movie again, I actually laughed more at the remake.
Wow.
Walter Matthau, and I'm going to agree with both Annie and Mark, was fucking annoying. The fact that I'm looking and he was nominated for an Oscar for that, why? And he would never have won, because I don't even know what the hell James Whitmore and Give 'Em Hell Harry did, because I've never seen the movie. I'm sure he was not as annoying as Walter Matthau was in this.
It was actually a film version of a one-man show that he did, that he toured with, the
Okay.
Harry Truman thing.
He
Mm.
still lost to Nicholson, and both Al Pacino and Maximilian Schell are amazing in the two films that they're in. So anyway, I smiled. There were some things I laughed at, but even the sketch I found annoying because he was so over the top. And to me, it wasn't wasn't a good vaudeville sketch. It was a bad vaudeville sketch. It wasn't funny to me. I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Let's move on.
Obviously, Joel was cranky when he watched the movie.
Yes, exactly. I was very cranky when I watched the movie. Oh, actually, no, maybe I take that back. I had just finished watching the new version of All Quiet in the Western Front for my
Well, that could do it.
club, and Clerks 3. So,
Yeah.
which was a better movie than this.
Don't watch this movie when
anyway.
you're cranky.
I was not cranky.
And he was locked in his basement.
I was in a perfectly fine mood. My wife was out at a show, and I was watching this by myself. I smiled. I enjoyed it. Honestly, if it wasn't for George Burns, I'd give it less stars than I'm giving it. I think George Burns was great in the film. He deserved the Oscar he got. I'm going to give it 3 stars. It's a reluctant 3 stars. It's mostly because of George Burns, partially because I like Richard Benjamin, and I felt sorry for him.
Yeah, George Burns was so calm, so centered. It really was a beautiful performance,
Yeah.
especially up against Walter, who was a little unhinged at times, for sure.
Just a little.
And but that's the perfect, I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm gonna say it, odd couple. Because it was just the odd couple as crotchety old men.
Does anyone else feel that that George Burns turned out to be just through fate, a better casting of the role than Jack Benny would have been?
Oh yeah, I agree for sure. For sure.
Mhm.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard to say because we always hear about, well, this person was supposed to be cast, and could you
Yeah.
imagine? Well,
You
you never
can't tell.
know.
Honestly, Jack Benny would have been better as the Walter Matthau character.
I could see that.
I don't think he could play the part because he's only 39.
Right.
All right, so any other comments? Are we good now?
Oh, just one quick thing, because it reminded me when Mark mentioned it earlier. You're comparing John Candy to Walter Matthau in this film. There's actually a moment in the remake where Woody Allen refers to John Candy and Steve Martin in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and saying
That's
that
great.
they're a funny team together. They work well together. So
Oh, that's
That's
funny.
That is funny. We have a little callback to our other movie.
Wow.
And what year was the remake?
96-ish, I think.
Yeah, I definitely remember watching it. All right, so that's it. The Sunshine Boys. If you want to watch it, it's not available on any streaming service. So pay for it or go to your library.
$2
Next.
on Amazon.
Yeah.
$2?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not bad.
All right, $2 on Amazon. Did you rent it, Jeff?
Yeah.
You don't have it in your collection?
No.
That's disgusting. All right, next week we're gonna watch Demolition Man, which was one of Mark's selection, and it's available on Stars, which now we have back.
No,
Oh,
Doing.
it just lapsed. It just lapsed. I lost Stars and Showtime.
I'm gonna lapse you right in the head.
Hey,
Just
wait,
drop those also.
just
You
real
changed your
quick.
cable service? You
Uh,
changed your
You got
No,
6
no, no.
months
We,
for
we, we
free,
threatened to
and then
we threatened to quit, and they gave us a bunch of movie stations for free for 6 months, which ended on
Yeah.
December 1st. So I just found out
So-
yesterday actually because I tried to watch something on
No,
Showtime.
But that means
I
it's
did
time
the
to
same
threaten to quit
exact
again.
thing. And I don't miss Showtime one bit.
Joel, what'd you say? It's time to what?
It's time to threaten to quit again. That's what I
Yeah.
do this time
Yeah.
of year every year.
And
I just
Turn it
might-
back on.
I happened to look up Die Hard today, and that's also only on Stars.
Oh, all right. Let's see what we can do.
No.
Yeah.
I watched
just-
Die Hard 2, 3, no, 1, 2, and 3 last week. It was on TV.
You're gonna watch
I
it again
watched
next week?
2 again.
Yeah, I love that movie. Love.
Why did you watch 2 again? Just to watch 1 and
Because
3.
it was on. It
was
was
on.
on.
Just like you, Joel. If something's
No,
on
two-
TV,
2 is skippable.
you rather watch that
3 is
than
better.
take out a CD,
I
take out a DVD and put that in. All right,
just
wait,
completely
wait.
I don't
froze
even have
with
a DVD player anymore.
I have one.
Yeah.
I just completely froze. Was Annie saying what you saying you just watched 2 on TV?
yeah, all 3 of them were being broadcast
Oh.
somewhere, and
Oh.
she watched all 3. Talk about remote dropping. All right, so that's it. We're done.
Hold on. I'm trying to say something. Just for anyone watching Demolition Man for the first time, whether it's here or for our 3 fans at home, give it the first 7 minutes. First 7 minutes, you're gonna think it is another shoot 'em up, mindless action movie from the 90s. It's a lot smarter. Just get through that first 10 minutes. That's it.
Okay.
We have to get through the first 10 minutes. We have to watch the whole thing, no matter how long and boring it is.
I'm just giving you a little heads up. It
That's
gets
our
better.
rule. Not you, Jeff. You don't have to
Given
watch
his-
it.
Who's in it anyway?
Wesley Snipes.
And
Enough
Stallone.
said.
And Stallone and Sandra Bullock and Benjamin Bratt and the warden from Shawshank Redemption.
What's his name?
I don't know.
The warden from Shawshank Redemption is fuck.
Juan Perón.
Yeah, I was going to say he played Sweeney Todd.
No, he's Juan
Hold on.
Perón.
Also, one of the greatest actors of our time, Rob Schneider, is in.
Oh God.
Yeah. Mm.
Who played Juan Perón? What's his name?
Benjamin Bratt.
No, he did
Ben
not.
Bratt
Bob
did not-
Gunton.
Bob Gunton.
Gunton,
He,
yeah.
That's
he was
him.
in the original, yeah.
He was Juan Perón.
But Bob
All right,
Gunton
can we
also
can we
played-
end this now,
What?
please?
Yes.
What?
I'm Frank Gaffney, coming to you from Key West.
And also with you.
I'm sorry, I already had a drink today. All right, watch a movie.